It's who?
Hot Radio.
Hot Talk Radio, Bandy. Who am I speaking with?
This Monica.
Monica. Okay. Well, we about to get the show started. Just hold on tight. Hold on tight. We got to go through the whole process. Just hold on tight. We get started.
What's the subject for today?
We're covering Ori and the Zodiac.
Okay. You want to call back or you want to hold on?
No, just hold on. Hold on. We finna get everything started, all right?
All right. You know, you can talk to her without the mic. So go. You can talk to her without the mic. And always keep saying music there. If you don't want to hear the music, you take it off. Up here. You go to air. Up on the left. So you can cut that back.
Okay.
Cut that back up. No. Cut it back on. Cut it back up. So at least you got something playing. You know what I'm saying?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? It's Black Line with Hot Talk Radio coming in for Slavery Tuesdays. We got this show today. We got a couple students. We're going to have a couple callers. So if you got any questions, the calling number is 444-619-466. Black Line, let's get it. Radio. We just had a festival last weekend at Oyotunji Village, but it's past coming up weekend, actually Saturday. We had King's Day, which is the day of the birthday of the founder of Oyotunji Village, Oba Adefume. So we gave a libation for that. So today we got students in. We're gonna talk about Ori, and we're gonna finish that. We're gonna start tying it into some information you can actually use. So once again, the calling number is 444-619-466. Can we get the students to get a little bit closer to the mic, please? Caller, can you hear everything pretty good? Caller, you still there? 404, we're still there. All right. We'll get that caller back later. But okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, can you hear everything pretty good? Am I clear?
Huh?
I said, am I clear? Can you hear everything pretty good?
You sound a little breaky.
What about now?
Oh, now you sound perfect.
All right, I guess it's just me. All right, does anyone remember what we covered in last class?
I wasn't.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with the ORI point. So what is ORI?
Your head.
You talking to me or you talking to Cam?
Whoever wants to answer it. They have a mic.
Is this our mic?
Ben,
Alright. Well, Ori, as I know, is your spiritual head.
wait a minute, let me see if the mic is on.
Ori is your.
No, that's my mic. That's yours, right?
Ori, as I know, is your spiritual head and guidance. Is it working?
All right,
Try that.
is that mic plugged in?
Hello? Is it working?
All right, try it.
Alright, hello?
So this is one. It's my mic. This should be good. Go ahead.
Hello?
Hold on 1 second, y'all. We gotta trouble with the mic.
Is this work?
Y'all hold on 1 second. Hey, Trey, is this mic turned on?
Yes, this is that level. That's 3 and 4.
Hello?
So 3 should be on. Say something.
Hello?
He's soft voice.
Say hello?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I went crazy. Okay. Yeah, we're going over Ori. I'm sorry. He got a Prince voice.
Yeah, you got it.
We got to say it with the chest. Yeah, say it with the
Right.
chest. All right, yeah, we're going over Ori. Who all do we have with us today? Who we got on the line right now? Tell everybody who we got on the line.
My name is Abiola.
Sister Lynette.
And I'm a Goon Beamy.
The other mic work too. The great one. The great mic work too.
This one?
That's the
Oh, that.
It's that one. Okay, now we got all the mics together. You're dealing with some very soft voiced people.
The mic on the other side work too. If you want to sit on the other side.
Yeah, this number 2 is good. Okay. All right, we got the students. These are some of the students from Egbe Tiwalade, which is here in Atlanta. From Oshabe House in Cuba. Tiwalade was the first female to come and initiate anyone on U.S. soil, so that's why it is Egbe Tiwalade. So today we're going to be covering Ori, and who's the caller? Who's the caller we got online?
Cole, I can't hear you very well.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right, how about that?
I can hear you now.
All right, yeah, that's okay. So who we got on the line right now?
Monica.
Okay, Monique, what do you do?
As far as?
Yes, as far as like what do you do for a living? What do you do? What spiritually wise?
Right now I'm doing like a lot of entrepreneurial stuff that I'm kind of taking off the ground a little bit. I went to marketing school and I'm working on launching myself to do private events and stuff. I have a couple of things in the works that I'm working on actually. And relocating and doing some transitional movement and stuff like that right now too. I was asking the people out there, King Boo, and I couldn't make it in tonight, so I said, you know what, I can call in now so I can still be a part of class, actually, and not miss out.
Good, that's why we got this platform. That's the exact reason we got the platform. how can the listeners and the audience patronize your service? Like, how can I get in contact with you for what it is that you do?
As of right now, I'm not launched. So when I get launched, then I can better put that information out. I don't need it to start stabbing me yet, and I'm not ready for it to get stabbed. You follow me? It's at the ground level right now. I'm making up the contracts and putting everything in together. So on March month, then I'll be able to say, here's the phone number, here's the Facebook, here's the Instagram, here's the email, those kind of things. I'm still in, the positioning stage.
Okay, in the incubation phase. Okay, we can rock with that. All right. So last class we talked a little bit about SU, and we covered ORE. So we're gonna finish the ORE segment up, and we're gonna get into a little bit more in-depth information. So,
Okay, you want to finish the ORE segment?
ma'am.
You said we're gonna finish the ORE segment?
Yeah, we've been on ORE for a while, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna finish covering that.
Okay.
So, what can y'all
You
do?
guys got off that.
Say what now?
I said, where did you get off that? Where did you finish up at?
Oh, we're about to go over there now. So we got the students here. Y'all can pass the mic as you see fit. So, what are the ORE points? Where are they at, and what do they cover? We can go one by one. Who would like to start?
ORE, as I know it, is like your spiritual head. I'm not sure the exact parts of the ORE just yet, but I do know, like, it's your spiritual head. It's the only Orisha they say that cannot leave you. And I kind of see ORE almost like as intuition, kind of like your inner guide. Your inner guide.
Yeah, that's better. When you talk on the mic, you want to feel the vibration.
Okay.
Just very white it out.
Gotcha.
All right, so we got more students coming in. This is good. Oh no, she's not a student, but she can listen to though. But go ahead.
Oh, that's all. That's all I have.
All right, so to the other.
I have up to 5 actually from our class. I missed last week, so I don't really know how far last week went. But I do have up to 5 that we have over that I haven't really do the formal detail. With your navel, and it has to do with your superconscious self.
Okay, what is that called? That's an ORE point. We're gonna let one of the students answer that question. So the first one, she said, say it again now.
The ORE.
Okay, ORE. Where is it at? Where's it located?
Your navel.
Okay.
And that is like the superconscious self.
Manny, good. Echo don't. Good. So what other ORE points do you know?
What is that?
I said, what other ORE points do you know of?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
The ORE. I don't know how to say Iwaju, the ORE Iwaju.
Manny, ORE Iwaju, okay.
Which is it can be called your third eye or your first eye. It helps you to make decisions. It helps you to see clearly. It's the frontal lobe of the brain.
Okay. So that's 2 of them. We can 7 we cover, but keep going.
The third I have is the ORE Ipamri.
Manny, Echo don't. Odara, good.
Right?
Ipamri, Manny.
Yeah, Ipamri. And that is the one that's not inside of your body. That's like your higher self, that reaches to the heavens and reaches out beyond your physical body.
You close. Y'all help her out with that one. What is your ORE Ipamri? She touched on a lot of.
No, so wrong.
No, you close it. There's a specific term we use for that.
Okay. specific purpose.
It's the aspect that never left heaven. It's your body double and your spiritual double in a room.
Benny. Yeah. See, your Ori is actually in heaven. That's your body double in heaven. Your height.
Well, my notes say in heaven. It doesn't say that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said. We look at that. Yeah, your Ori is not on your physical body. It's actually in Orum still. Orum, which is heaven. All right, what else you got?
Okay. I have the Ori
Ipako. What is that? Where is it located? And what does it do?
That's at the base of the skull, and that's what you use to connect with your ancestors and the again. Okay, from the information I've been given of it, that's when you can hold the back of your head and chant your ancestors' names. It has to do with connecting with your ancestors.
Bandy, that's it. Good job. Okay, what else you got?
And I have the this one it's
Ori what? Let the panel help you out with that one. Go. Ori Aura. How do you have that spelled?
A-R-A?
Yes, Aura. That's pronounced Aura.
Okay, Aura.
So let Bobby explain what Ori Aura is. Whoever knows it.
Yeah.
Let Yeye handle that. Let explain.
Okay. It has to do with your physical. Thank you. It has to do with your physical body. That's all I have here. So your physical body.
Yes, your Ori Aura is your physical body. It's the way we look at Ori Aura. Ori Aura is the vehicle that allows you to live out your purpose. So like your Ori Ipanri is the driver, but your Ori Aura is the vehicle that helps you actually do it. Alright? What else you got? Caller?
Actually the core starts at
Okay, yeah,
I don't have the other ones up there.
Okay. Yeah, you got that too. What's your name?
Lynette.
I'm gonna glue that mic to y'all face. Some Velcro through the cheek.
Okay, the other one that I have is O'Day, and that has to do with the physical brain.
Man, yeah, your O'Day is your physical brain or physical skull.
You say you Ori what?
O'Day. O-D-E. O-D-E.
It's your brain and your skull.
And that's the what?
It's your physical head, your physical head. But for the intents and purposes of this class, your O'Day is actually your brain, your physical brain. But if you hear it somewhere else, they say your O'Day is going to be your skull. We got one more we cover.
But we did the Ipanri, or the Ipanri?
Or Ipanri.
Ipaku.
We call Ipaku. So,
O'Day.
we just did it. We just did it.
Oh, did we do Atari?
Atari. The last one we covered, and there's more, but the last one we covered is Atari. We got another call. Well, they can find out. Okay. We got Atari, and that's A-T-A-R-I. And Atari. And what is Atari?
The Atari connects change to the Ori.
Yeah, what kind of change?
That I don't know.
It connects all the aspects of Ori to each other. So
look at that again. What is the Ori Atari? It's literally.
it's the chain that connects you.
I'm talking to the mic.
It's your chain that connects your physical to your Ipako.
Ipako? What is Ipako?
Your soul.
What is Ori Ipako? Where is Ori Ipako located?
At the base of the skull.
Right, base of the skull. So if the Ori Atari connects to something, what does that usually mean? That means it's not connected to you. So what does your Ori Atari connect you to? Yeah. Well, what's in the room?
Heaven.
What is in?
Oh, your
Which is what? You got talking to the mic.
It's the connection to the Ori Ipari.
Man, yeah. Your Ori Atari is the silver chain that connects you to your higher self. That's the aspect of you that keeps you grounded when you do astral travel. So when you that connects your body to your Ori Ipari. So when you astral travel in your dreams or astral project or have out of body experiences, that actually keeps you grounded so you can come back. So when people say you off the chain, it's a little bit of what they're talking about. You disconnected with reality. So
Yeah, wasn't the Ori Ipari, doesn't that also have to do with your higher self?
that is your higher self. That's your body level in heaven. That's your higher self.
Okay, so the Atari
Connects that to your Oreo day. So it's the physical chain. It resides at your crown chakra. So a lot of this is and we're going to get into chakras later, but a lot of this is basic. I won't say basic. Well, yeah, it's basic physiology of the endocrine system. So you have the chakras. People mystify chakras, but really it's your endocrine system. Just like your thyroid is your throat chakra, your pineal is your Ori Iwaju, your gland system. That's really your chakra. So I think it's your vagus nerve is your kundalini. So in this class, we're going to simplify a lot of that. We're going to take the mysticism out of it and turn it into some valuable information and something we can use. So once again, let's cover what we got so far.
And Ori.
Will you start from the beginning?
Benny, we gonna let the we gonna let the panel answer this one.
Have Ori Inu, Ori Iwaju, Ori Ipanri, Ori Ipako, Ori Ara, Ori Ode, and Ori Atari.
Alright, now Carla, tell us what each one does.
Alright, the first one, the Ori Inu, is your navel, and it's located in the superconscious self. The Ori Iwaju is your third eye or your first eye, it helps you make decisions. It's in the frontal lobe of the brain. The Ori Ipanri is your higher self. It's in heaven. It's not inside your body. Your Ori Ipako is at the base of the skull. It's for connection to your ancestors, your Ebun. Your Ori Ara is your Ara.
Alright, Benny. It's
your body, your temple, your physical body which carries your mind, body, so it's your vehicle that is to carry and
you trailed off.
Huh?
You trailed off. We didn't hear that last part.
I'm sorry. It's your Ori is your physical body which carries your mind, body, and soul. It's your vehicle, which is used to carry everything. It's your body. It's your temple. and it doesn't tell your economy actually.
Danny.
And then your
Oreo Day.
Is it Oreo Day is your physical head after your brain, your skull, and your Oreatory it connects the charge to your higher self. It connects your body to your eternity.
Okay. Sounds good.
I have a question on that if I can.
Okay, go ahead.
So with the Ori Inu is the superconscious self, correct?
Yes,
subconscious self.
Yeah.
Okay, that clears my question then, because I was going to ask what was a difference, but that's it. That's good.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be like your gut feeling?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like your another way to look at your Ori Inu is that's your conscious almost. Like your
subconscious or your conscious?
Your inner conscious, like the still voice. You have your conscious mind, then you have your subconscious mind.
Right.
Once you tap into your subconscious mind, you reach your superconscious mind, because your subconscious receives all information. So your conscious mind acts as a filter to your subconscious. So your Oreo Day, or your physical brain, is the filter to what goes into your Ori Inu. So when you're under spiritual attack, that's actually what they're attacking. They're attacking your Ori Inu, because that's how you get information into like your subconscious thought. Because once you think something subconsciously, that's what you actually project and do. So like, for example, logos are like that. Logos and colors, and we're going to get into color magic in the next segment. But that's what a logo does. So, for example, if you've been at work all day and you've been working for 8 hours and you get no lunch, and somebody show you the McDonald's arc, the first thing you're gonna do more likely is either smell French fries or get hungry. So that's an example of what we call a sigil. A sigil is a symbol that registers with your subconscious mind. So sigil magic, that's sigil magic. Logos are sigils, and it speaks to your subconscious. So whenever a person can show you a image of, let's say something that everyone can, a 6-point star. What's the first thing you think when you see a 6-point star?
Jews.
Exactly. So yeah, exactly. So that's a sigil. That 6-point star is a sigil. So that's really how you communicate with people. Numbers, symbols, and feelings. It's how the spirit realm communicates with humans, because they don't really use physical speech because it's awkward. But that those sigils, they're meant to go straight past your conscious mind into your subconscious. So another example is the colors, like red and yellow. What do you think when you see red and yellow together? The first thing that pops in your head? Fire, yeah.
McDonald's, is that what
exactly? Again, the colors, but they're not the only person that uses that.
Right.
Frito uses that. A couple other places that use that color combination. But when you see those colors with that arc, you instantly want that food, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah, I heard that those colors supposedly make you hungry or something like that.
Well, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna discuss that when we get into color magic. But it's a social thing. Colors is a social thing, but it can still be communicated universally. So just like the sister right here said, the first thing she thought when she see red and yellow is fire. So we know that those are two hot colors. So we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the color magic aspect of spirituality. All right. Black Lion, Hot Talk Radio, let's go.
na tutu. Tutu la roye, yeki kuse tutu. Omi la kuwe, omi la kuku. Omi la kusise, omi la kari, omi la nipa. Ojo bale na wawa. Olotumare atuba, olotumare atuba, olotumare atuba, eleni atuba.
With this, this is on our third time going. Yeah, so it's just like I said, like she can't make it. Have it come to class and not have it. Keep the same thing that y'all already have. So y'all gonna get the best way to learn something is to explain it. So like y'all explain it to
Coming. Y'all can find that music at www.ogunlanomusic.com. He just had a naming ceremony for his Omo Day. We give a big shout out, big up to Ogunlano and their new beautiful baby girl. Alright, we're back. Calling numbers 444-619-466, hottalkradio.net. You can listen in, live stream. We have some Ekbay members of Tiwalade Ekbay. We are having class. We just covered the aspect of Ori, and we just got into the aspects of sigils. Now, that's sigils is something we actually want to start working with. They're easy to do, and they are one of the most simplest yet effective forms of magic that you can work with. So I think since we're talking about sigils, we might as well just get into it the way we can start working with it, because this whole class is about making yourself smarter. We don't have to run to a priest every time we have an issue. So this is part of what I like to call, and what I was taught, is self-actualization. Now, there are two forms of sigils that I know of. You have your personal sigils, just your sigils that you draw, and you have something called a hypersigil. Now, a hypersigil, that's some serious magic. A hypersigil is when you let's say you write a story or make a movie or do a painting, and you put actual factual events in it, and then you inject yourself, and then the rest becomes whatever you created. So a prime example of a hyper sigil is music. So a person could write a song about themselves, about something that happened to them in the past. So let's say you was born in Georgia, you went to high school in Georgia, you went to college in Georgia. You're telling the facts of your life that in your subconscious mind, or you already know happens. So this actually does tie into Ori, so we're going to stay on it. So you put information that has already happened. That way you already registered as being real. So the next step, what makes a hypersigil is you add something fictitious into it, and then that plays out as if it was real. That's what a hypersigil is. I forgot the name of the book, but there was this guy, he wrote comic books, and he would use real cases, and he would add fiction into it, and then the real murder would happen later. So hypersigils are really serious. A prime example of hypersigils is The Simpsons. That's a hypersigil. So they take what makes that so powerful is they take things and people and places and events that people know aren't real, and they add fiction to it, and then it actually happens. So there was the last one they did. Ned Flanders had shot up some people at a country music concert, and we had that shooting in Vegas. So that's a hypersigil.
There was also one that I saw about The Simpsons that had Donald Trump becoming president.
Yeah, he became president. Yeah, so that's a hypersigil. So the way that works with your subconscious is, you know, Donald Trump is a real person from what you know. Although we haven't physically seen him, we say that it's real because we see him on television, and we assume that television is real. So they took a real event, they took a real person, a real possibility, added fiction to it, and it became into reality because everybody registered it as potentially being real. So subconsciously, because what colors are the Simpsons?
Yellow.
Yellow.
Yes, they're yellow. So the yellow is tied with memory. So now you're dealing with a cartoon that can subconsciously penetrate your mind and make things real that aren't necessarily real, because we know no human is yellow, but everything that they do happen. So, you know, that's some research that y'all can do and just look at the coincidences, but you can do that for your own personal life. So we can actually have an exercise if y'all would like to. We know what we're going to do. This is the third class. We're going to have an assignment. We're going to do a sigil or a hypersigil. If you're good at writing, a hypersigil will be good, and then we're going to see what happens. So that's one assignment. You can pick one or two, but you're going to have to do at least one of them, and then we're going to compare them.
Yeah, so writing that?
Yeah, I'm going to explain the first sigil. Now, the first sigil is what you do is you make a statement of intent. This is the beginnings of an actual sigil magic. And this is something that you can look up on, you know, YouTube or whatever. You can do research on sigils. Sigils are pretty easy to use. So you make a statement of intent and give it 4 parameters or limitations or less. The simpler the better. You know, a good way to look at your magic, any sort of magic, whatever you're doing, candle, fire, water, sigil, sex, whatever type of magic you're using, keep it simple, stupid. Because your subconscious keeps everything simple. Your conscious mind is the part that breaks things down. Okay, if I do this, I do this. Your subconscious is like, I want cookies. Find somebody who got cookies. That's how your subconscious works. Or I want this person to buy my cookies. So buy my cookies. I don't care how you get the money. I don't care if you like how they taste. Just buy the cookies. So
I like that. That's good.
Right.
That's me.
That's how you function. Right. You get stuff done like that, I'm sure.
Right. Like, can I just have my cookies?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh yeah, he just wants the cookies. See, now if someone makes cookies, this bro right here wants some cookies. So
I love cookies.
See, yeah, he loves cookies. So we're all connected. So what you do is you write a statement of intent. and it has 4 parameters. So a simple one is, I would like to, it is my will, that's a good way to start off because that's what it is. It is my will to manifest XYZ by this day, in this form, in this place. So those are the 3 parameters that I use for my sigils. So a simple one, the one that I was taught was, it is my will to manifest a round ball in my yard.
Simple.
Yeah, just write a sigil. But this is actually how you charge it. You always do something that you know something simple. You're not attached to it. And never attach yourself to the results of your sigil magic. Just see what happens. So this is a form of chaos magic. Like there's no real form to it. The form is the production of it. This is when you get into the feminine spaces. Chaos.
Okay, question.
Yes.
Okay, you said never attach yourself to it. Why is that?
Because you will end up looking for it. Like you just let it happen. It's chaotic. You can't really once you have a connection to results, that's when you limit your magical ability, because you put more parameters on than what it needs to be, and you end up speaking it into existence that it doesn't work. So as opposed to you never start doing magic when you need it. You just don't do that, because you're going to be thinking about it. Because the way sigils work is you have to make them and forget about them, but leave it somewhere where you can see it. Like it's background noise, just like a prime example of a sigil is a commercial. So you could be looking at the TV, and all of a sudden you could be hot outside, because this is when it's hot outside, or it's late, because people usually air certain commercials at certain times. So it's late. Let's just say you've been up all day, you just got out of work, and it's 9, 10 o'clock, you ain't got nothing to do, and a Taco Bell commercial pops up. Carne asada, chalupa, supreme, and it shows the food and all of that stuff and the images, and it shows the bell, and the bell that rings. So for 30 seconds, you are being bombarded with subconscious information to tell you to go buy tacos. Now, you might not have wanted tacos, you might have been hungry, but once you saw that bell, because the first thing you hear with a Taco Bell commercial is ding, so that's getting your attention. So then they show you the images of the food, which very, very rarely does it actually look like that when you get it, but that represents what you want. So when you're doing that, you see that, and you're like, man, I want a taco all of a sudden. Like, no, I'll get it tomorrow. So you drive on your way to work.
Like, I have an example where, like, you walk past somebody and they singing a song, 'cause I'm happy, and you hear the first 3 words, and for the rest of the day, you singing them 3 words in your head.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that, but visual, that's a sound sigil. That's a trigger. But what we're talking about is the visual part. So you watched this commercial last night, you went to bed, after the commercial went off, you go to sleep, you get up, you go to work in the morning, you go to lunch, what do I want? You drive past Taco Bell, ding, I want Taco Bell. But it's the logo that you remember, and from what the images that you was influenced with last night. So it's the same thing. You wasn't really thinking about Taco Bell till you saw the sigil again, and then you popped up, and then you end up getting a grilled stuffed burrito or something. So you don't want to attach yourself to the results of the magic, because it's just going to work anyway. So what you do is, with your statement of intent, the first thing you want to do is cross out all the vowels. And y'all can like tinker with that. So it is my will to manifest a cup of coffee tomorrow morning, and I don't pay for it. That's pretty easy to do. But just whatever you want to do. But when you write it, after you write the statement of intent down, the first thing you do is cross out all the vowels. Then the second thing you do, I'm going to let them do that because I think they're actually doing it. The second thing you do is cross out all the repeating letters.
Repeating just that there's more than one of them, or repeating that they're like in a row?
No, repeating is more than one. Like will when let's say the word will, you're gonna cross out the I and one of the L's. Like the repeat, like W-I-L-L, you cross one of them out. But you're gonna keep one of them.
Okay.
So after you cross out all the vowels and all the repeating letters, you're gonna take what you have left and make a logo out of it, a symbol or a logo. And one of the good ways to activate it is to circle it, put it in a circle. You can cut the circle out. You can have a circle on a square piece of paper, whatever. But that's how you want to do it, and you want to just let your mind flow of how to put all those letters into the symbol that connect it. So you have fun with it. So and you put your intent into the sigil. And one of the ways that you can charge it is to put it on a window where light shines through it. And then put it somewhere and forget it. And just pay attention to what happens later in the next couple of days. But usually it's good to give a sigil a time frame. Just, something that's realistic to you. Like, it's my will to manifest a ball in my yard by this time next week.
Say it again.
It is my will to manifest a ball in my yard by this time, 8:19 p.m. next week. So that's only 3 parameters. So it gives you, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen Saturday, But you just when you see it, that sigil is going to remind you of what you just wanted. So you're like, man, damn kids throwing balls in my yard. Wait a minute, I just made a sigil for that. So that's what a magician does. This is my definition. There's Amherst, Crowley, everyone has their different definitions of what a magician is. But my definition for a magician is an individual who manipulates coincidence in their favor. Because that's really all we're doing. Yeah, you like that?
I like that. That's good. That's really good. I like that. That was good. Can you say it again?
Magic or priest manipulate coincidence.
I didn't know. I'm losing you guys. I don't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you said magic is what?
Magicians manipulate coincidence in their favor.
That's good.
Yeah. So when you go get your eyeballs, like when you prescribe the eyeball or sacrifice, you're using the elements to manipulate coincidence in your favor. That's what that does. So that's why it's good to learn what the eyeball does and why you use the symbology of things. And we're going to start with the basics of this today. So we're going to cover the simple elemental aspects of our tradition, which are colors, and the elements.
You said colors and what?
The elements. Because when you get your eyeballs done, when it's done right, when a priest does it and it's done right, it's not nobody that's playing make believe or dress up. When you get your eyeball, they tell you where to take it, right? That tells you the element that it needs to balance out whatever spiritual imbalance that you have. So let's say you did an eyeball to get a mate, and it says you have to take whatever you sacrifice, the animal, the bird, the perfume or whatever, because that all means something, and take it to the river. You're realigning yourself with the element of water. So since we're on elements, what are the 5 major elements? See, you're into it.
I am. This is earth, air, water, fire, and spirit.
Spirit
might be
Akasha or ether. Akasha or ether.
Right.
Okay, the earth, air, water, fire,
and earth.
and
Earth, air, water, fire, and akasha, or ether.
spell it, please.
AKA SHA, akasha, or ether. Just like when somebody say you've been ethered, that's what they mean. Like you've been destroyed on a soul level. Like you've done it. You've just been ethered. I haven't ethered anybody lately, but yeah, those are the 5 major elements, and all these elements reside in your body.
The elements of the earth, is that what you're saying?
No, all 5 of those elements reside in you.
Oh, I want to see that. Okay.
And all 4 of those elements reside on the planet of Earth. So, you have the 4 elements. Now, those 4 elements go into classifications. What are the 2 classifications of the that the elements fall into? Brother Ogunbane?
Expansive and receptive.
Which is better known as what?
Masculine and feminine.
Exactly. So the elements correspond with the gender. Well, no, that's not gender. The polarities, let's just say, because gender is different. Polarities, the elements are polarized into categories. And the first category that they're polarized into is masculine and feminine. And the brother just explained what masculine and feminine was. Which one is masculine and which one is feminine? New students, let's figure this out.
Masculine would be earth and fire.
No. Which one is expansive and which one is receptive?
Water and air would be receptive.
No. The masculine and feminine.
Oh, I get you.
Which one is which?
Expansive would be masculine, receptive would be feminine.
Exactly. That's what we know as the law of gender, as well as the law of polarity. And we'll get to the 7 Hermetic laws later. That's a whole other course. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. But everything that you know has a masculine and feminine principle, and they are separate. They never reside in the same thing unless you're dealing with something that's androgynous, which has both. And we work with androgynous energies. Olokun is androgynous. Obatala is androgynous. And sometimes Eshu, but Eshu is mainly a masculine principle, but sometimes he's pictured with breasts as was an erection, which talks about the nurturing and the separation of things. That's a whole African art breakdowns is a whole other thing. But so you start with the 5 elements, and then you go to the 2 polarities of each element. Now, let's get to what the elements are. So we're gonna make a little chart. We're gonna draw a line. There you go. On the right, we're gonna put a positive sign, which means masculine. And on the left, we're gonna put a minus sign, which means negative or feminine. And negative does not mean bad. Negative simply means to take away from. So, which element is which? Just start off with the simplest one that you know.
I would say that air is probably feminine.
Why?
Because feminine is receptive. You can put things into air.
But what does air do? What happens to air when it gets hot?
It evaporates. Well, it heats up.
And does what?
It explodes.
Rises.
Rises.
Expands.
Yeah. So
how do you blow up a balloon?
Put air into it.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's masculine.
Air is a masculine element. Okay, what's a feminine element?
Yeah, water.
Water is a feminine element. Why is water a feminine element?
Because it absorbs.
It's receptive. So we got 2 more. We got 3 more. So what's the next one? When you're breaking things down, this is how you, I guess, this is how we're going to do it in this class. When you're breaking things down, you have to take whatever we're breaking down and look at what it does. That's how you understand symbology. So when people are talking about this Illuminati stuff, if you don't understand Latin and symbology, you have no idea what they're talking about. And it takes time to learn the symbols, but they're really simple. So, we know air is masculine, water is feminine. So what are the other two?
I would say that earth would be
just feminine. Feminine, exactly.
It receives things.
Yes, you plant seeds in the earth, Mother Nature. So earth is a feminine element. And what's the last one?
And fire is not there because it expands. It can travel.
Expands heat. Dealing with heat. Okay. So, now that you have the basis of the elements and their genders, let's look at the colors that correspond with the Orisha.
Okay, but now what about ether?
Exactly. What about it? Tell me about ether. Let's look at what ether does. What is ether? What does the Bible say that ether is?
I don't know.
Well, okay. The Bible says that your name will be written down into the book of life. The book of life is also known as the Akashic record. So, if something is written onto something, what does that make that element?
Receptive.
Exactly. The Akashic realm is the womb in which all creation comes from.
So all elements come from
Akasha, yes, which is the womb. And light is what fertilizes the darkness of Akasha into manifestation. Oduduwa, yes, Oduduwa. See, Oduduwa is an emanation of Olodumare. Oduduwa is actually not a Orisha. He's one of the three emanations, which are what? Who are the three emanations? They're not Orisha, but they're emanations of Olodumare.
Olodumare,
No, not Olodumare.
Olofin?
Olofin is three emanations.
I know this.
You got them on your body right now. Everyone has them.
Ide?
Which is who?
Your head?
Orumila. That's one emanation. What's the second one?
Eshu.
Not Eshu. Eshu is Orisha.
Ogun?
Not Ogun is Orisha. So we got Oduduwa, Orumila. Obatala is okay. Let's just cover this right now. Some Ilays say that Obatala is an Orisha. Some Ilays say that he is not. He's actually an emanation of Olodumare. Now, the three emanations of Olodumare is all seeing, all knowing, all powerful. Which of those deities are all knowing?
Olodumare.
No, these are aspects of Olodumare.
Okay.
Who knows your destiny? Orumila. He's the emanation of Olodumare. Yeah, Danny. He's the emanation of Olodumare that's all knowing. Because he knows your destiny. He knows everything. Now, which one is the deity of, so you have the all-knowing, all-present, and all-powerful. Now, which one is all-powerful? Where does everything come from?
Oduduwa.
Oduduwa is all-powerful because everything comes out of Oduduwa.
Did you say Oduduwa? O-D-U-D-U-W-A. Oduduwa. But when you do your research on Oduduwa was the first king of Ife, and people say he's masculine. Some people say that the emanation is feminine. So it just gives you something to study. I'm not going to cover that because just study that. So what's the all present, omnipresent? Obatala.
So when you say that they are the three manifestations or emanations of Olodumare, is that basically like? Do we believe these are like? Olodumare came in physical form as these three different?
No, they're aspects. You did. This is starting. Now you're starting to get. This will make something metaphysical. Always know that any form of physics is conceptual. You're dealing with a concept. Like you don't want to try not to materialize everything. Just understand the concept, because that same concept is where the Trinity comes from. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. So in that situation, the Christians replaced the woman, the feminine aspect of the emanations of God, with the Holy Spirit. So in the Orisha tradition, we honor that feminine aspect because in the spiritual realm, it's the feminine aspect that's actually active, the most active. So man, woman, child, past, present, future. Man, woman, and child. So that's why number three is very important because you deal with the emanation of God. So now that we got into the five major elements, but we're going to work with four because those are what we're working with when it comes to what we're doing, and know that Akasha can actually represent the soul or Ori. Because all these elements reside in your body. And your Ebo is prescribed based off of which element of you is out of balance. So we're going to cover what the elements represent after we take a break. So this is This is Black Lion, aka Obadina, with Hot Talk Radio 449-466. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to cover what the actual
sometimes your eyes will figure to go to Walmart, but at Checkers and Rallies, getting all white meat chicken dippers with fries for only $3 just takes a little loose change. The chicken dippers and fries box for just $3. Checkers and Rallies, fast food, you know the deal.
It sound like a part of the show. Gotta make it to the and it's recorded. So, you study this like you see how we're going in like this. And then first of all, and notice how your soul changes over weeks and months. That's true. Like, I'm gonna go ahead. That's the way to do it. Like, that's what it is. So, like, okay, this example, like you said, I was like this. Or having a class at my talk radio. We'll talk about the elements. When I was on the radio, sunny out there, y'all see what we're on the bed table. When we left here, we found the dog. That's why it's like important what you say, I guess, and how you think. Because it's like real situations, if you're like, they got this fantasy about what went wrong, and this shit goes wrong, you're like, she made it real. Made it real. So that's like good to know. You made it real. So like that's how I see things to exist. So like in what the first thing God was word of so the first thing that makes something good is once you see it in your mind, it's at that point the law of consciousness is reality. So the universe cannot exist without the mind and energy. So that's why you have to be careful about what you think and what you see. Yeah, sunny hot day, job for me, saying God cover my head, God cover my head. So we're talking about already. We having a good conversation over here. I think we're having some a few epiphanies, and we're gonna explore that. So we was discussing the concept of a hyper sigil. Now we kind of got off subject. We're gonna get back on that, but the conversation was so good that I know that it needs to be recorded because this is why I'm doing this, so we can record stuff like this. So the brother asked what a hyper sigil was, and a hyper sigil is when you write a story or make a song or a poem, and you include aspects of the story about you that you know for a fact undeniably are true. And then from there, you inject your personal self in the story in third person, and then you put an aspect of the story that is fiction and watch it play out. So, for example, when something people say that I think is actually, you're really hexing yourself when you say this. I ain't got no money for that. That's actually a hex. You're hexing yourself because you just created a situation where you don't have money for what it is that you want. When you just never know, somebody might give it to you. You just never know. But if you say you don't have it, you don't have it. Whether you have it or don't, whatever you say is correct.
I got it.
So if you got it, you got it. Good. And then you have the resource. That's how you gain resources. But that's how you make a sigil. And you can play with that. So who was that?
No, I was gonna say that reminds me of
Mike.
To the show. That reminds me of a movie I seen on Netflix, which was I think it's called Death Note or Death Note. Yeah. So you writing out how this person's name and how this person's gonna die, and then it reminds me of that. I just thought that was interesting.
But see, Inception was like that. How they was incepting people's dreams, like they're going into their dreams and they're incepting it and making it real. Right. But they're going into that's really a form of body snatching. You're dealing with possession at that point when you did working with dreams. Now that's something that voodoo covers a lot. Voodoo does a lot of dream works. Like you can. I can only say so much about that because a lot of stuff we can't repeat, but voodoo works a lot with trance and dreams. Like the mambo and the hugans can come to you and physically view your dreams. And they use color magic to do that. So with certain colors, that does certain things. But if good exercise, like I said, we're going to cover the exercise, which is we're going to either make a sigil, draw a sigil out, or you're going to make a hypersigil story. Hypersigil story, hypersigil song, hypersigil poem, and put something in there that's simple that you think can work or you want to happen, and just watch what happens. And the fun part about this is, if it doesn't happen exactly how you want it to happen, look at how it actually happened, and you'll see what you were really thinking when you said that. Are you speaking out of something that you want subconsciously, or are you just speaking out of ego? So you really get to see how it happened, and then you can go back and be like, okay, I wanted this to happen, and it didn't, so what did I do wrong? And that's what makes magic fun. That's what makes this whole African traditional spirituality work. There's no wrong answer. Either you did it right or you didn't. But you can always do it again. That's why it's good not to be tied to results, because let's just say you might want to manifest a ball in your yard within a week, and the only thing you saw was a football, tiny football. Like, man, it ain't working, I ain't see no ball, but you didn't say what shape the ball had to be in. Because most people think balls are round, but a football is an oval, but it's still a ball. So you have to see what you did wrong or what happened, or if you just missed it, you might not have been paying attention at all. So it's good to forget about it, but just to let the residual remind you, okay, that's what's supposed to happen. How it's going to happen, I don't know. That's the difference between faith and hope. Faith, you know it's going to happen. Hope is you hope that it will. Hope is a sign of distress. You hope that it will change. I hope. Faith, it's going to change. Just like I'm going to get up and walk out of this door if I want to. Not that I hope I can walk over there, because my leg might break when I get right here, or I might fall out and die right here. No, when I get ready to go, I'm going to walk out the door. and I have faith in knowing that I can make it out of the door. That's the difference between faith and hope. Knowing and hoping. Like that's why Bob Marley said, brothers, we should know and not believe. You shouldn't believe nothing, either you know it or you don't. So when it comes to your magic, you have to know it. If you don't know it, then you're wasting energy. Because that hope and that belief brings in how can I say this for outside the country? Hope and believe leaves space for doubt. Like, I hope I get it. So there's a possibility that you might not, but you hope that it does. But if you know, I'm going to get it. I don't know how I'm going to get it or when, but I'm going to get it. That's knowing. That's faith. So, yeah, the Holy Spirit leading me. I think the Holy Spirit got me. The Holy Spirit. Yeah. All right. Now, that was the hyper-sigil exercise. Like, y'all pick one, do one, or do both. Just really enjoy yourself with it. And it's all personal. This is not, and another thing, never talk about your magic when you're doing it. Never do that. Because you don't know who else is doing magic. So, you only tell magic after the results have been shown. I can tell you what I did after I did it. So, for example, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you. Now that I think about it, it worked for me. I had started. No, I was making an affirmation because affirmation is a form of a verbal sigil. So I made an affirmation that I needed to get some drums for my Shango shrine. I didn't know how I was gonna get them, but I know I didn't want to pay full price for the drums. So I was talking to this young lady, and she was telling me that she would sell her stuff on the, wait a minute.
Call is losing.
Hello? Hello, we still here.
The last thing I heard was that you didn't know how you were going to pay for the drums for your Shango shrine.
Yes, exactly. So I'm telling you how I ended up getting them. So I was told about this app called Let Go. No, Offer Up. So she was like, yeah, man, I sold all my stuff on Offer Up. She's like, you can get anything on there. So I said, really? She was like, yeah. So I put drum in the Offer Up app. And I went through the drums and said, man, I'm going to get one of these drums. And I was looking at the price. You know, they were selling for full price or whatever. So finally I found 2 drums I thought were maroon. I was like, how much you charge me for one? Because that's really all I got to pay for. Just going to pay for one. He was like, it's XYZ. He said, it's 50. He was selling both of them for like, normally they're 120 to 200 a piece, like the big congas. I was just trying to get a little tune or something, but I saw the congas. I'm like, yeah, I spent my money. Okay, I don't want to pay for a brand new one because I want one that they sound the same. I just fix it myself. So he was like, yeah, I'll sell both of them to you for 120. I'm like, cool. So I was like, how much for one? He said 60 for one. Oh, that's Shango drum. Okay, I'm gonna go get that. So I went to go get the drums. Saw the guy. I said, bring both of them because I want to see which one. I'll just get the best one. He's like, yeah, man. My mom ran off with this guy from the Virgin Islands. They left all the equipment. Now they're in Kirkland somewhere. I just want the stuff out of my house. Like, I'm just selling these bongos. I was like, as soon as I heard him say bongos, he don't know what they really are. So I'm really gonna get them now. So I said, no, yeah, those are congas, man. Those are bongos. But I'll get them for you. Get them from me. So he was like, yeah, man, just get this one and get the other one later. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I met the guy. He was like, yeah, man, this is the good one. I was like, I'll get you 60. He was like, you know what, man? Give me $80 and take both of them. So I paid $80 for 2 congas, which cost from upwards to $125 to $200 a piece. All because, and they were red and white. It was actually red when I saw it. Like, it looked maroon, but it was red. So that's how that works. So when you want what you want and know that you're gonna get it, you really get it. You really get it. Just like when another sigil or negative affirmation that we have got to stop doing is saying black folks ain't shit. We gotta stop that. Like, we gotta stop bad mouthing each other so much.
Because I stated on.
Yeah, because it becomes reality. Right. You get on that same vibration of a person that does stuff like that. So like, man, all these females is hoes. Then you're gonna keep running into and noticing females that's on Backpage and work at Blue Flame. That's all because that's all you're gonna see. Because that's all you're putting out there to the ether. The ether is receiving all of this. Your subconscious, like, okay, if all women if black women ain't this or black women are all black women are hoes, let's make that a reality. So let's every female that you notice now, not that you're around, but every female you notice will be like that. Just like when females say all men cheat. You just made that a reality for yourself because your subconscious knows that, okay, not all men cheat, but because of my past experiences, all I know, this must be my reality. So if you want to change that, you might not want to say that no more because you'll have an eye for something different. So if you expect all men to cheat, or if you expect all black women to be loud and country and ghetto, that's all going to catch your attention. And like things that you are entertained by will reaffirm that. So if you saying that all black women ain't shit, black women loud, crazy, violent, all that shit, and all you do is watch World Star and Facebook and people fighting and arguing and Real Housewives of Atlanta and all that stupid stuff, then it reaffirms your reality. So that way the only thing you'll see are women like that.
That's right.
You know, as opposed to people who ain't like that. Like you just won't even see them. So it's just like when you wear your African clothes around people that know you. Like you put your African stuff on, you walk past them, they won't even recognize you. Like, hey man, you just look me right in my face. Oh, that shit, man, I ain't recognize you, bro. I thought you was some African. Yeah, because you're not on the vibration of looking at the Africans as people that you know. So it's the same thing. That's an example of a sigil. And I'm gonna say it, and I don't care if y'all get mad. That's why Tyler Perry is such a terrible influence on the black community. Every last one of those movies he makes is a hyper sigil that reaffirms the negative thought that black men are only valuable when they are with a woman that is doing better than them. If you look at all of his movies, the women are the victims and the man with money is always the villain. Just like Daddy's Girls. He was accused of rape and she was an attorney and they fell in love because she helped him. I think I Can Do Better All By Myself. The lawyer was beating Jill Scott. And in the first one, she was married to a doctor and the doctor cheated on her and then she ended up marrying the lawn guy. Like none of the heroes in the Tyler Perry movies, none of the heroes in the Tyler Perry movies are educated men with money. So what that shows black women is that when you find a man that's educated with money, he's gonna cheat on you, abuse you, X, Y, Z. The Holy Spirit hit him again.
We're not gonna debate on that because that's not what I get from his movies. I think that's going down to some logic, I think.
But no, we're not
gonna debate on that because that's not what I get from any of his stuff. But okay.
And you're not supposed to because it's meant to play on the emotions of women because women make up what's the ratio of men and women in Atlanta? Like 40 to 1?
I mean, it's like 20 to 1. But
so let's look at the economics.
Everything you put out there.
Yeah, but let's look at the economics.
I didn't get that analogy that you can't be with a man with money.
No, that's not what I said. Let's look at the economics of it. Who are Tyler Perry's #1 customers? Black women that are what? Fed up with black men.
No, but
they're fed with black men.
I haven't done statistics on any of that stuff. I'm just kind of going based on what you just put out there.
Yeah, but
because I do watch his stuff on a regular basis, and I have watched his stuff continuously, and I've been to a couple of plays. I'm just speaking from experience at this minute. I didn't get that I couldn't be with a guy that had money. I didn't get that that all you can have is the underdog. I didn't get that. I didn't get the bashing part either. So
no one said anything about bashing because there's a difference between criticism and bashing.
He started out to saying that when he sends out the messages that he sends out are all negative messages.
I didn't say that either. I just stated what he did. I just broke down. I'm just saying what I received from what you just said. Yeah, that might be what you received, but that's not what I said.
Right.
I just stated a pattern with his work, and a pattern in which everyone in here agreed with. And I'm not assigning emotion.
I know that. I didn't get that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's okay. But yes.
I guess maybe that's why it does work for everyone that is negative, because they receive it in the way that he would perceive it out there. Well, that's not what I got.
Well, it's not even about negative. You're dealing with economics and you're dealing with getting your message out.
Right.
So if I know that 90% of women in Atlanta grew up without fathers, I know that out of that 90%, at least 75% have a skewed view of what masculinity really is. So I showed them what masculinity is, which is the men who you actually want will more than likely be the one to hurt you. And it's the one that you never would think would help you or you end up with that's what you need. It's not about what you want, it's what you need. But if you look at, he's following that same, the same Color Purple model. Color Purple was like one of the most sexist. I can't believe that they even did that, because like they went to the biggest male chauvinist in Hollywood to produce that movie, which was Steven Spielberg. And if you look at all the male images in Color Purple, none of them were positive. And there was never a movie actually to reverse that when you had black men and black women together. So right after you had Color Purple, you had Beloved. What did Danny Glover do in Beloved? He screwed a pregnant demon, and he cheated on Oprah with the pregnant demon. So it's showing the narrative that black men will screw anything, just like Rush Hour, the same thing. Who was focused on the mission?
But y'all didn't from that. I mean, and I'm sorry. I wasn't finished either. So when you look at Rush Hour, who was focused on the mission and who kept getting sidetracked by women? It shows that black men have a weakness and cannot control their sexual desires, and there hasn't been a movie that corrected that. If the man was a hero, you either don't see him with a woman or don't see him with a black woman. Just like Remember the Titans, like he very rarely showed them together. But you saw Batia's mother and father. But what was the black boy's name? You never saw their family. And the only time you saw, Denzel Washington's family is when a brick got thrown in the window. That's when you saw his physical family. But the white coaches and the white players, they showed them as a family at all times. You didn't know what the black boy's family looked like. No, Petey, you don't know what his mother and father looked like. But you knew what Batia's family looked like, and they called him family. Blue, you don't know what his parents look like, or if they showed him, it wasn't wrong. So the whole example of that is showing you how dangerous hypersigils can be. So, and when you do that, you disrespect your complementary gender by doing that. And us as African traditionalists, which if you're part of Egbe Tiwalade, you are by association part of the African cultural restoration movement, which restores not only the African mind but the African black family unit, which is important. So if you have a disdain or a disrespect for the other half of that, then you're going to manifest that, and we're going to stay divided, because we are the only race of people who don't practice group economics, and the only race of people who don't have a term of endearment in our own lexicon for our men and women.
That's right.
Like, we don't have that. Just like, for example, Latin people call men papi, but you don't call women that. You call women mommy or something. Like black people, we don't really have that for our women. Like when men address each other, what we say? What up, dog? What do all women call men? Girl, he a dog. What a dog. And what do women call each other when they're really cool? What up, bitch? Hold shit up. We don't really have terms of endearment like that.
Maybe that's the younger.
But what do the older women say? What do the older women say? Girl. Girlfriend. But the thing is girl. Yeah. There's not a term of endearment for a woman.
Well, wouldn't that be it, girl, or
no? Because a girl is not a
or sister.
Sister would be better. But how many women on average do you hear call each other sister?
Well,
look at your insecurity. That's the perfect.
Just when you're
I don't know. Some of that.
Environment.
I can't hear who's talking. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So for example, The Samoans. Samoans call each other oos. Like, what's up, oos? That's brother. But they can go for either or. They don't call each other something other than what they look at them as an equal. So when you call somebody a girl or a boy or a dog or a bitch or hoe or whatever, or even nigga, what up nigga? It's a derogatory term that's meant to say that you're less than what you actually are. And then if we don't do that, we're patronizing each other. What up king? What up queen? What up God? You know, patronizing each other because everybody ain't no king and queen.
Right, because who's the subjects?
Yeah, what are you a queen of?
Right, where's
you know,
the kingdom?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we have to, that's why the African cultural restoration movement is so important because in the Yoruba tradition, we call each other Baba and Iya, which is father or mother or man or a woman or you know, of a high position. You look at each other different. So all of that is a form of affirmations and sigils that we use and subconsciously don't really realize what we're saying or doing.
I hear that because
the Holy Spirit got him again?
Because I noticed that since I've been in the culture, I will see, like if I'm out in the street just walking or working or whatever, and I'll see black men that in my mind I'm like Baba.
Yeah.
But I know I can't say that to him because he don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, don't know what you're talking about. Right. But if you actually say to somebody that don't know what it means, like what you say, man? That's what's up, Baba. What Baba mean? Baba means father or man, man. You got kids? Yeah. You mean you have children? What you mean? Goats have kids. So you're dehumanizing yourself again. No, you have children. So if you're a father, the honored position or the honored position of a father in Yoruba is Baba. That's why we have the term Baba Lawo, father of secrets. So father, owner, or patron of secrets. So Baba also can translate into patron. You know, if you don't have any children, you still have a paternal lineage that you're connected to. So that's why watching what you say and watching what you absorb into your already knew, because it's still tied into your already knew, will actually manifest in your lexicon. And that's why it's so hard to disassociate yourself with people who don't do that, because it's such a subconscious thing. Go ahead, Baba.
All I was going to say, Baba, was that you know, when you look at commercials and you look at movies, they're the exact same thing. Yeah. If I know anything, I do videography, so what I know about script writing is that it all plays with your emotions. It's supposed to. So you look at the advertisement and say, oh, they just want my money or they just want to get me to go and buy their product. But movies do the exact same thing, except it's just, you know, like it's on the subconscious level. Yeah. And it's a message to be to show, you know. Yeah. So whether it be negative or positive or whatever they want you to pick up on, you know.
They want you to create an emotional tie to whatever it is they're trying to produce. Right. A prime example of that, I'm gonna get to you, but I want to get this out while I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Look at who's trying to sell you something that don't work. Look at like when you go to a pyramid scheme. Are you tired of working? Are you tired of somebody else telling you what the hell to do? Are you tired of being broke?
Oh, can you hear me? You said look at what?
Look at like pyramid schemes for selling Juice Plus or something. And they're like, are you tired of working? Are you tired of being broke as hell? Are you tired of people telling you what to do? Are you tired of getting up in the morning, putting on some clothes that don't fit, and driving to a job that you can't stand? Are you tired of that? Well, so-and-so offers an escape for all of that. For just $300, you can invest in our business and be your own boss. Not once they tell you to get a business license because there's no emotion attached to that. Same thing with, there's a particular church on Old National that I think we all know about. When he has a show, he plays on your emotions because it's easy to do. Because the average black person doesn't know the difference between their emotions and their feelings. He's not really giving you any information. He's just making you feel good. I went to sermon today, and it was a good sermon, boy. Like, oh my God, we caught the Holy Spirit. Sister Maybelline, she fell out in the flow, and the band turned up, and it was just a good sermon. Oh, so what did you learn? Well, I don't quite know what I learned, but I just know it was a good sermon. I was in there crying and carrying on my basket. So you didn't do anything but a bunch of emotional masturbation. He just got you all emotional, and now you let down just to go back for the same emotional release again, which is the same thing Tyler Perry does. He plays on your emotions. It's meant to make you emotional because emotions can give you a high. Like, just like some people like to be scared. Fear is an emotion. Fear is a reaction to something that might potentially kill you. Just like sadness. Watching sad movies. I just want to feel something. I've been dead for so long. That's why I watch sad movies. Watch funny movies. It's humorous. It makes you laugh. It makes you feel good. So you have to be very, very, very careful on things that play on your emotions. Emotions first. That's why shows like this, Chief Speaks on enlightenment and transformation, going and get your readings and listening to what your Bible or EI tells you. They'll break down what you actually got going on, and it lets you see the masculine and feminine side of what you did to create this reality. So they'll tell you, okay, so this is your Odu, this is why this Odu failed, this is what you've done, and this is how you fix it. But you have to look at the role you played in it. That's the only way you can actually make any type of advancement when it comes to your spirituality. If every time something happens, you go and get a reading, first of all, if you're getting a reading from a Babalawo frequently, be kind of cautious of that because you can't even go to E5 on certain days. So that's one thing. Second, if a Babalawo reads you or EI reads you every single time that you ask for one, and they don't ask you, have you done your elbows and worked on what you did for the last one, be careful of that. I'm not saying I don't do it, because some people need readings frequently because you're dealing with business and whatever, so stuff changes. But just for the same emotional problem, is my man cheating on me? Am I going to get a job? Am I going to move? Is my man going to stop beating me? Is my woman going to stop running off my child? Okay, we covered that last time. What have you done differently now since your last reading? Because every time you do get a reading and make an elbow, you have to do something different. Because if you don't learn from your history, you're bound to repeat it. So people who don't, and Chief I put it perfectly, said black people are a people of emotion and not a people of memory. We only deal with how we emotionally feel at the time, not what actually happened in the past. So if you met this girl at the club and you got her pregnant and then she ran off with your baby and you in the club again talking to the same female, dancing to the same music, wearing the same outfit, what are the chances of that happening again? Or maybe you should just try to find a female at a library, something that makes more sense to what you do. I'm just saying, look at white.
It's true.
And I see this because I work in the club. It's funny. It's really funny because I'm going to write a book about that because you'll be shocked at the silliness and the immaturity level and how scattered grown adult black people are across every genre of club. And because when you went for me, and this is why I had to do that, because I see a pattern across the genres. You can go to a teen party, you can go to a college party, you can go to a young alumni party, you can go to an alumni party, you can go to a reggae party, you can go to a hip hop party, and the behavior is the same. The men either want something with no strings attached, and the women don't want emotional accountability for what they say and do. So, prime example, and this is just experience, y'all can argue, but I'm just saying, every fight that I broke up between a man and a woman, usually, you're like, he just beat me. You didn't even see him slap the hell out of me? Yeah, but you threw a drink in his face. Why would you do that? Oh, because he hurt me. So that just gave you the right to throw a drink in his face when he over there talking to some other female that he just cheated on you with? So why are you even concerned about it? That don't matter. That's what's wrong with men. Yeah, he shouldn't have hurt me. I'm sorry, I'm hurt. Okay? But still, you don't want to take into consideration the fact that not only did you throw a drink on him, you just threw a drink on two other people. But that ain't my problem. He shouldn't have hurt me. So just because you're hurt, you can go and hurt other people and have the emotional fortitude to really sit there and say that and not have a problem with your behavior and how you treat other people.
But they get this from this reality TV Because that's what these girls do. I don't really watch it, but my one friend watches it, and so I'm sitting there watching him watch it.
And none of them take responsibility for what they do.
Right.
It's always somebody else.
Right.
And the same thing with men. But these females tripping, man. She won't let me see my child. You know, she got me on child support. You know, she won't do nothing I tell her to do. You know, why these females act like that? Why she always asks me where I'm at? Well, maybe because you staying with her and you took her car to go cheat on her with her friend. Why would she trust you? What in your mind will make you think a female would trust you when you're staying with her, you drove her car, told her you were somewhere else, and smashed her friend, which her friend ain't shit for letting you do that, but you took advantage of this woman's trust as well as her resources. What makes you think she's gonna trust you with anything else? You know, it's personal accountability, just looking at the part you played in it. So if you're on child support because you done pissed that girl off, you might not have should have pissed her off. You know, just relook at how you do stuff. You put him on child support, why? Because he didn't do what you told him to do? Why? Maybe because you weren't supported as you thought you was. Because it's always something. With men it's like, because you see it so much, next time I'm going to just take a camera in there with me and just let you hear what these people say. I'm doing grown women, grown 30, 40, 50-year-old women saying the same thing. What's wrong with these men? I don't understand. I said, have you asked one of them? I'm just saying, they ain't going to tell you the truth. Because why? What happens when you tell a woman the truth?
It depends on, it depends on what truth you're asking for and what truth they're willing to give. I think a lot of things have fallen off as society has developed and embraced the lack of, you know, because I'm from a time in an era where the mental thought pattern was different as well. So evolution with certain things just has not been to the benefit of relationships in a lot of ways, you know, from what I understand and see. You know, I as a woman, I can't speak for a lot of women, but I as a woman have never, ever in my life had the problem of attracting a man. Okay?
No one has a problem with that.
I always had the privilege.
No woman has a problem with that. You're always going to attract.
No, that's not true.
No, but okay, based off, now write this down. This is the law of vibration. The law of vibration is nothing rests, everything vibrates, everything moves. Now, what is the feminine aspect? Receptive. The feminine principle is always going to attract. Attracting, you always attract what you project. So, if you project yourself, and it's your true self, if you project yourself as a person that behaves a certain way, you're going to attract two types of people. The male version of that, and the version of a person who wants to leech off of that. Now, what you have to do as a person, you're dealing with spiritual vampires now, because that's real too. You have to look at what you have projected, and based off of what you have attracted is what you have been projecting, what you subconsciously project. So like this sister right here said, when you present yourself in a certain way, you attract certain people. Every woman attracts something. That's inevitable. There's no way around that.
Well, if I could finish my sentence, because whatever this is going is not actually on what I was going to say, so I'm sorry, but it went somewhere that wasn't going to be my statement, but it's okay.
Well, because you said you've never had a problem with attracting men. No woman has.
That went from your statement of when you said if you ask a man to tell the truth, and then what most women say they're not going to tell the truth. Mm-hmm. So that I'm commenting on that.
Well, yeah, that has nothing to do with attraction. That's deception.
Huh?
That's deception. That's different.
Right, and I'm saying I'm commenting on that, and in my experiences and never going out to the clubs and things of that nature, I've never had a problem with attracting a man or a man wanting to talk to me or anything of that nature. What I found, like I said, over time, from being younger to now, a lot of things have fallen off with the evolution of a lot of things coming into play.
Like what?
So I have found, in the sense of just, I can remember when a man felt, excuse me, go sit down for that. I can remember there was a time where a man felt like he could never leave his children. Like he would be with a woman sometimes just for the fact of not leaving his kids. You know, be it right, wrong, or indifferent. He would stay because he felt in his mind, I don't want nobody else raising my children. I don't want nobody else being in the household with my kids. I watched that change where guys be like, well, shoot, she shouldn't have a baby anyway. I didn't want it. You know what I'm saying?
So when did that start changing?
Thinking.
When in your life did you notice that change?
That change started coming about, I want to say about maybe almost 25 years ago.
Which is around what time period? Because we don't know how we go.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan. Let's say, hold on, let me do some math real quick. I'm sorry. What's it? 2017, right? 2018. Yeah, I mean, you make me do some math because I just know around that time.
The class is supposed to make you smarter, so.
We gotta go back. I'll be 50 in March, so let's go back 25 years.
So you did it with the late 80s, early 90s.
Huh?
The late 80s, early 90s.
Around in that area, yeah.
So,
around in that area, it started changing a lot.
So let's look at the social climate of what was going on in the late 80s, early 90s, especially where you were. Where were you at when that happened?
I was up north. I wasn't in the south.
So who was the presidents within that time period between the late 80s and early 90s?
You're doing too much. I have no idea.
No, because see, this is what we have to do. We have to break things down. You did. That's the Reagan period. That's the Reagan, Bush, Jimmy Carter period. That's when you had a big crack explosion. You had mandatory minimums. You had a big social reform when it comes to child care and welfare and whatnot. That was right on the heels of the hip hop renaissance, where black people we was blacker than black, So we went from Jim Crow to the Civil Rights Movement, to segregation, to the Black Panthers, to the crack epidemic, to the African Restoration Movement, where you had your African Bombadas, your Queen Latifahs, your Afrocentric explosion, and then what happened directly after that? What was the thing then? Baby mama, baby daddy. So a lot of what you're talking about is what I know as social engineering. So when social engineering is when you give people the climate and the resources to behave a certain way. So just like now, people say that there are no more chivalrous men, there are no more real men. What's the first thing a female tell you when you meet her?
Men ain't shit.
I'm independent and I don't need you. Me and you are the same. Me and you on the same level. We equals.
But I don't say that.
We're not, we're not talking about you.
I don't even think that.
Once again, we're not talking about you. But this is something that a lot of black men hear. This is a mantra that a lot of black men hear. I'm a strong, independent black woman. I don't need no man for nothing. I raise my daughter not to need no black man. I raise any woman don't need no black man for nothing. So you take that, and usually with black boys, it really, a lot of black boys, it takes one time to hurt them, and they're never the same. So you got the climate of where women don't need you, and they really don't, between child support, alimony, between what was the other thing, where they give you money for diapers and stuff, WIC. Yeah. Like, you really don't need a man in the house, and as a matter of fact, the way welfare was set up, you cannot have a man in the house. So that's actually true. They become concubines of the government, because not only does the government take care of you, you go and work for them. So you don't see black families with businesses anymore, for whatever reason, but it's more than that. So when as a black man, when you hear "I don't need you," you actually kind of take that kind of hard, like, well, shit, she ain't listening to me. Oh, she's just gonna get on food stamps, and I'll go pick them up whenever I see them. Because whenever I go over there, she don't want me over there no way, because she don't need me. You know. So that's another sigil or mantra that we say. Now, I blame this on the men. Because the men are the ones who establish culture. We establish culture, and the women maintain it. So when the man is out of balance, the woman is going to follow that suit. She's going to adjust because she's the earth and water element. Water always rises to its own level. Water seeks the form of which it flows. So that's why water is a feminine element. So if the land is built to make the water serpentine, the water is going to flow there. It's going to flow in the form of that serpentine canal. If not, it's going to overflow the bank. And now you have a problem on your hands. So a lot of this is the problem. A lot of this, the men started a lot of this. And a lot of it, another half of it, the women took advantage of that. Because they didn't want anybody telling them what to do. Because that was the whole feminist movement. You don't need no man to take, y'all can have babies without me. Y'all don't need no husband telling you what to do. You can be a career woman. Although somebody else is going to be watching your children. But you can be a career woman. You don't need no man in the house. You know? So, and that is coming back, again, with this whole equality stuff. Because not only are you dealing with a lot of fatherless children, you're dealing with a lot of abusive relationships. Because men will fight women now. There is no thing, man, I'm not going to hold out. Shit, they talk crazy. I'm not gonna hold out. There's no boundaries of what you won't do, because when a person tell you that they're equal, I'm gonna call you a bluff on it. So you talk crazy to me and you finna go step outside, because that's how men do stuff. So between the domestic violence, the fatherless children, and the social climate of we're equal, you're gonna have imbalances in your relationship, because never in history have masculine and feminine ever been equal. Because I don't care what nobody say. When that woman have your baby, you cannot breastfeed it. If we were equal, then she would have it and he would breastfeed it. Or she would carry it and he would deliver it. That's equal. Or there's people who can do the same thing. But that's not how masculine and feminine work. We're black, well, not black, but just men and women are not opposite sex. They're not opposite gender. They're complementary. They're supposed to come together. She's supposed to pick up where you leave off. But if we're equal, we bumping heads all the time. And if a man's purpose doesn't overarch a woman's passion, then she's not going to respect him, because she's the one that has to make all of the decisions, and she's not going to respect that. So the culture wraps a lot of that up, because you start to deal with purpose and what you're supposed to be doing with your life, and you'll attract who you need based off of what your purpose is. So if my purpose is to be a veterinarian, then I'm going to attract a woman that likes animals. And it makes sense, because she's going to want to be part of what I'm doing, and vice versa. So, this is a little food for thought, since we're dealing with Ori Inu, subconscious, because subconscious programming is real with us. All of that was still tied into this Ori Inu, because once you dig up that what you subconsciously really think, you're working with your Ori Inu. And that led into the next part of the class, which is the elements. So tell a friend, 404-461-9466, hottalkradio.net. You can listen in, you can call in, but the topic of today, we finished the Ori aspect of it. We're going to get into the elemental aspect of it, which is what will actually help make your life go smoother. So if we know that the earth element is feminine, the water element is feminine, the masculine element is air, the fire element is masculine as well. We're gonna cover what those elements mean and how they correspond to what goes on inside of you. So we're gonna start there. We got 10 minutes. I guess we can get into that. We have any questions? Anything you want to add before we get into this? Real quick, you got some food for thought to get ready for the next class. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm stepped out, so I'm not sure if I'm backtracking something. But I just had a question really quick as far as with the sigils. Mm-hmm. Once you've actually, say you have, because you didn't know, you manifested with the sigil something negative, a negative situation. Mm-hmm. Is it possible to then rearrange the situation to something positive now that you know?
Yeah.
Just the same exact situation?
Yeah. That's where the whole term "do as thou wilt" comes from. But you don't look at it as something negative. Look at it as it did what you wanted to happen did not happen because you didn't do something right.
Right.
And it makes you look at your Ori Inu. What are you subconsciously thinking? Like your sigil should be like this. Like this is a sigil. Like whenever you see this symbol right here, you're gonna think about this show. But it's back here the whole time. I see it, but I'm not actively thinking about it. But when I see it, it makes me think about the class. So
the first, second T you cross out.
Okay, so okay, for example, weeks. That's a good question. Yeah, we're recording. If this was a sigil. If this was a sigil, okay, you would cross out these two. You would cross out this. You would cross out that T, this A, that A, that I, that N. No, you leave the N. You'll cross that E out and that T out. And what's ever left of that is the letters you use to make your symbol. Like the TSU symbol or the Georgia Tech symbol, that's a sigil. They connected two letters together. So whenever you see it, although it's not the two letters, it's the two letters together that makes a symbol. So whenever you see that GT connected, you know that's Georgia Tech. And not Ghost Talk or something. You know that's Georgia Tech.
Yep.
So that's how you do your sigils. That's how you do your sigils. It's really fun. It's really fun. You know, you put it somewhere where you can see it, but it's not the focal point. Like I see this everywhere, but I'm not actively thinking about it. So that's how you want your sigils to be. And if you do it right, if you meditate on it and let it go and release it, then it'll pop up and you'll remember that I did my sigil. Or you'll find them. And then once the sigil is done, you can put the sigil in the element in which it came from. So if you're trying to manifest something as far as like a love relationship, love is the emotion. Water represents emotion. So you dispose of it in water, or you can put the sigil in water and let the water take it and go from there. And just watch what happens. That's why we all need to create a grimoire. A grimoire is a log or a book of your magic spells and rituals. That way you can go back and look at it and see what worked. So what we're gonna do with this Black Lion show, with this, study group Tuesday since it's the beginning of the month, and Jupiter just went into Scorpio. This is a good time, big time for everything to be revealed, because Scorpio deals with the occult knowledge and everything else.
For 15 months or something?
I'm not sure, but it just left Libra. Jupiter just left Libra, so now you got Obatala in the house of Oya. So now you're dealing with whatever Jupiter goes, it expands, it makes it bigger. So Oya or Scorpio deals with digging deep, occult secrets, power, tantra, because the 8th house governs the genitals. So you're dealing with high tantric, sexual intense stuff, So with this starting the new cycle of planetary motion with Jupiter and Obatala, we're going to start our grimoire today. So it could be just anything, just this first sigil could be the first page of your grimoire. And just write down what happens. And that's really how you keep up with it. You don't think about your magic until, it's manifest, and that's when it hits you like, okay, you go on your grimoire, you check your grimoire every week or so, or whenever you do something, and you go back on, like I did a sigil for what? Damn, I tripped over something when I walked into the house. You go back, it was a golf ball or something you didn't even see. So your grimoire helps you monitor what has worked and creates a log for what it is that you have done. So let's start our grimoire today. Let's do some sort of sigil. Don't tell anybody what it is. Just do it. It can be whenever. But next week we'll see what happens. We're gonna give ourselves a week out. So the time frame with whatever your sigil is gonna be this time next week. That means y'all gotta come back. You gotta go back. So we're gonna do that. The assignment and the takeaway from the class, because I think they're ready to go. We're gonna cut off at 9:30. We're gonna the assignment for this week is to make a sigil and see what happens by this time next week. So Jupiter just entered Scorpio's 10-10-10 day, 10 month, 10 day. We're in a 10 year, 1-1-1. So it's the beginnings of new things. Remember, there are only 9 numbers. Only 9 numbers. No. How many numbers are there? How many numbers are there?
1 through 9.
No, you missed one. There are 10 numbers. So there are only 10 numbers.
You just said there's 9 numbers.
I know, that's why I asked you how many numbers are there. Because I'm lying to you. It's 10, 0 through 9. Make up 10 numbers.
Thinking of something else.
Yeah. No, I'm messing with y'all. But it's only 10 numbers, and, you know, we'll get into numerology later. As far as how everything we do, we're going to tie in with the Orisha because that's our frame of thought. But, you know, don't believe what I say, research what I say. That's what that's my takeaway from everything. You know, don't take my word for it. You just look it up yourself. But yeah, we either I'm gonna do one myself. If you're artistic, if you like to, you know, if you like to write, this can be a good thing. You know, it won't necessarily be a diary because it's fiction, but it'll turn into reality. So I guess you could say it's reality writing. But if you're not a literary genius, just make an art sigil. It could be crude as, you know, whatever. But whenever you see that sigil, you know that's what you want. And then you can know what sigil that works for you. And then we just monitor it from there. And we'll see what you manifested, see where it came from, and then see what you want to do next. All right, I think we're going to cut it off right here. We losing people. It's 9:29, 9:30 p.m. Black Lion Radio on HotTalkRadio.net. And we will see y'all next Tuesday if my computer does not mess up. And we're going to close it out with Sunny Identity. All right. Peace if you're ready to fight for it.